strange and terrible things, including the skeletons of recent Mongol victims. But he didn't come upon the fabled monsters he had expected to find. For days, he and his companions would travel without seeing anyone else. Then Karpini encountered the first Mongol encampments. At first, they looked on him with some hostility, but when they learnt that he was on his way to the great Khan, he was given an escort.
To tell of their good points first, the Tartars show considerable respect to each other and are very friendly together. They willingly share their food with each other, though there is little enough of it. The Tartars are quite different from other men, for they are broader between the eyes and across the cheekbones. They have a flat nose, their eyes are little, and the men hardly ever grow beards. They drink mare's milk in very great quantities. Their dwelling places are like tents and are made of sticks and covered with felt. Wherever they go, be it to war or anywhere else, they always take their dwellings with them. They have such a number of horses that I do not believe there are so many in all the rest of the world.
At first, Karpini was not able to make out much about their religious beliefs. The truth was that they had very few, but he did notice that they always offered their idols the first milk of every mare.
It is impossible to put down in writing all their evil characteristics on account of the very great number of them. The Tartars' food consists of everything that can be eaten. They eat the filth which comes from mares when they bring forth foals. Nay, I have even seen them eating lice. They would say, "Why should I not eat them, since they eat the flesh of my son and drink his blood?" They are men who are dirty in the way they take food and do other things. They make their hands dirty with the grease of the meat, and they wipe them on their leggings or the grass or some other such thing. They consider it a great sin if any food or drink is wasted in any way, and they give bones to dogs only when the marrow has been removed.
Karpini continued on to the east, towards the heart of the Mongol homeland, to meet the great Khan himself and attempt to carry out his Christian mission. A year after he had set out from Lyon, he arrived at the imperial camp just outside the capital city. Again, he observed the Mongols' religious practices, determined as he was to convert them to Christianity. He found that the Mongols themselves practiced shamanism, based on worship of the elements, and centered around the divinations of the shamans, or clairvoyants. Their supreme god was heaven, Tengri, but they also worshipped the spirits of fire and water, the earth, the sun, the moon, mountains and rivers. The shamans were powerful, and their chanting was full of significance for the conduct of daily life. But what amazed Karpini was that because shamanism had no doctrine or written laws, it could be practiced alongside any other religion, and the Mongols actively encouraged this. Chinese Taoism, for instance, had been the first foreign religion the Mongols allowed to flourish. Muslims were also living and practicing freely among the Mongols. And Buddhism was another religion which must have intrigued Karpini. All these faiths maintained their religious and cultural identity under the Mongols. Mongol military ruthlessness coexisted with an almost total religious tolerance. But what really astonished Karpini was to find a flourishing Christian community in Asia. These were Nestorians, or Eastern Christians. They had settled across Asia in the 5th century and, even today, still worship in Aramaic, said to be the language spoken by Christ. Karpini had heard of the Nestorians, but only of those living near Jerusalem and Baghdad. He had no idea that they had spread so far east. As for the Mongols, they were unconvertible. They merely incorporated aspects of any religion which they thought had merit, a kind of celestial insurance. Karpini arrived at the imperial camp just in time to witness the enthronement of a new great Khan, Guyuk, a grandson of Genghis Khan.
The emperor of the Tartars has a remarkable power over everyone. No one dare stay anywhere except in the place he has assigned to them. Whatever command he gives, be it to battle, to life, or to death, they obey without a word.
Karpini was anxious to present the Pope's letters and to discover what the great Khan's reactions would be. But obviously, for the time being, the Khan had more important matters on hand. When, eventually, Karpini was led into the presence, the great Khan's response was unambiguous. He sent a message back to the Pope.
The petition of your emissaries has been heard. You, who are the great Pope, come at once to serve me. You say I should become a trembling Christian. How do you know that you speak with God's sanctions? From the rising of the sun to its setting, all the lands have been made subject to me by God. If you do not observe my command, I shall know you as my enemy. Let this command be respected and feared.
This letter still resides in the Vatican. When Carpini returned to Europe with this message, the bells of alarm rang out. Europe was so disunited that Carpini had wisely refused to allow Mongol envoys to return with him.
Should they see how disputes and mutual warfare are the order of the day here, they will feel more inclined than ever to attack us.
The Pope had no intention of submitting to the Mongols, so disaster seemed imminent. However, Guyuk Khan died before he could carry out his threat. But as soon as a new Khan was elected, Europe learned that the Mongols were on the march once again. In 1251, just 4 years after Carpini had returned home, the Mongols were mustering their army. It was brought together on the command of yet another grandson of Genghis Khan, Mongol Khan. Genghis Khan had bequeathed to the Mongols a belief in their divine right to conquer the whole world. Those tribes and peoples which Genghis had not conquered himself, his descendants must seek out and vanquish. So the warrior princes of Genghis's line continued to expand the Mongol Empire. Mongol Khan assigned command of the forthcoming campaign to his brother, Hulagu. Hulagu commanded 150,000